Welcome back to Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN. And, of course, Phillies in action starting a 3-game set in Milwaukee tonight. Sunday Night Baseball is back on Sunday here on 97.3 ESPN. It is Boston and Houston presented by Taco Bell. You can watch it on ESPN Television, ESPN Deportes Radio, and the Yankees-Rangers Monday night. So the baseball season in full swing. And Alex Cora from ESPN Baseball Tonight is joining us now as we saw something last night, Alex, that, I don't know, are we starting to see more and more of these? Are we getting excited about no-hitters? Jake Arrieta with another no-hitter last night. It feels like the no-hitter's kind of jumping the shark.
Yes, and in a season that, just looking at the teams in the National League especially, there's some teams out there that offensively are very limited, it's going to be very tough for them to score runs, and there's some really good pitching, in certain teams. We might see a few more of those, obviously. I think what Jake Arrieta has done since the second half of the season, well, the last 2 years, to be honest with you, has been outstanding. And I mean, like I said before, this is the first one. But I got a feeling we're going to see more than last year, to be honest with you.
He's the 34th pitcher and third Cub to toss multiple no-hitters. Alex, where did he come from? I mean, for the people who are like, all right, where's this guy? He was with Baltimore, kind of a journeyman. How has he turned himself into maybe the best pitcher in baseball? His last 15 starts, he has been unbelievable. He's 15-0 with a 0.54 ERA in his last 16 regular season starts.
Well, listening to him, he always thought he will be this type of pitcher. With Baltimore, for what I heard, for what I know, I guess, they try to make some adjustments as far as, like, his pitching mechanics. And when he got to Chicago, it was kind of like, go back to what you used to do. He has that crossfire action, stepping towards the right-handed batter's box and throws across, and it's really hard to pick up the ball. Also, you see when when he's getting ready to pitch, he has that angle, and obviously the stuff is there. When you throw 95, 96, and you can sink it, cutter, you get the changeup, curveball, slider, and you see him on the mound, and he really seems unhittable. The poise and the way he acts, just watching the games, he's like, whoa, there's a pretty good chance he's going to throw a no-no today, or he's going deep into games. And Chris Bosco has done an outstanding job, just keeping it simple with him. One thing about him, he pounds the strike zone with quality stuff. We always talk about throwing strikes and attacking the zone, but there's a big difference between attacking the zone with average stuff and attacking the zone with plus stuff. And Jake Arrieta attacks the zone with plus stuff, and he's a joy to watch.
We're talking with Alex Cora of ESPN. Of course, we saw a no-hitter from Jake Arrieta last night, but overall, Alex, pitching is dominating the game. And we were kind of talking about this on our show yesterday. It is a swing-and-miss league, and there's not a lot of action sometimes. Pitching is dominating. Is that something that is, as a baseball fan, former player, someone who covers the game, is that a concern? I mean, is it a concern that baseball doesn't have a lot of action because of the way the pitching is dominating over the last couple of years?
It's a concern because you want to see action, to be honest with you. You want to see defenses making plays, guys running around the bases and putting pressure on defense. But this is something that, it goes on in the minor leagues too. You see the Houston Astros last year, and everybody was very excited about them, a very athletic team that hit home runs, but they strike out a lot. And you wonder sometimes, what if they make a little bit more contact? And, some people will say that a strikeout is just an out. It really doesn't matter. It's just like hitting a ground ball to second base. I don't agree with it. I think there are certain spots that you have to make contact. Man at third with less than 2 outs, you have to put the ball in play. Man at second with with no outs, you have to put the ball in play. I'm a big believer that teams are not great defensively. So if you put pressure on them, they're gonna miss some plays, and they're gonna open up the gates for you to score some runs. We've seen it the last 2 years with the Kansas City Royals. They do an outstanding job on going back to the middle, putting the ball in play, and putting pressure on defense. And it seems like that equation works. They've been in the World Series the last 2 years, and you see the start they have this season. It works. And sometimes you wonder, the best player in the game right now, Bryce Harper, he's hitting home runs, he's taking his walks, but he ain't striking out. So I know it seems like he's from another planet. I think he's from the planet that Mike Trout and Jake Arrieta are from. We got to check which one is that, but he's doing an outstanding job putting the ball in play, and good things are happening. So people, I think in an era that guys are throwing 97, 98, you got to go back to basics. Stay short to the ball and use the big part of the ballpark and put the ball in play and see what happens.
We're talking with Alex Cora, Baseball Tonight, ESPN. You just mentioned Harper. He's been outstanding. Mike Trout is from about 40 minutes from here, so we are in Mike Trout country. The debate always goes back and forth. Which guy do you like better at this stage of their career, Alex? I don't know what planet they're both on, but which planet would you move to? Planet Trout or Planet Harper?
Right now, I'm in Planet Harper, to be honest with you. But Mike Trout is just going through a little slump, I guess he said he needed to make an adjustment, and all of a sudden he's getting on base again. Both players are outstanding. What they do, they do it in different ways. One seems like he's more aggressive. He got the hair and he's sliding and he's running into fences and all that. The other one is more like cool, more like under control. But at the end, whoever says that they won't take Mike Trout because Bryce Harper is having a great season, they're lying. If they give you a shot, you take both of them because both of them are great players. The power, the speed, the control of the at-bats, it's amazing. And, we, for years to come, this conversation is going to keep going because whenever Mike Trout goes off, this season, and Bryce Harper, although it doesn't seem like it, that he's going to slump, but he will go through his, downs. Well, people are going to say, oh, Mike Trout is the best player in the game. But this conversation is going to be, going for a long, long time. And you can add a few guys too. To be honest with you, I'm a big fan of the third baseman of the Baltimore Orioles, Manny Machado. And for all the talk about Trout or Harper, what Manny Machado is doing at third base since last year, he's 35, and you see the stars this year and the defense and hitting in the top of the lineup of one of the most complete lineups in the American League. That's impressive too. So we're in a good stage right now as far as young players, and instead of putting guys down because they're struggling or whatever, hey, we have to enjoy it because all of them are great players.
I was going to follow up with Machado because of the season he's had, but you brought him up for me. Then I'll segue into the third baseman in Philadelphia, where we are, Maikel Franco, and get your thoughts on him. That's a team that, is obviously rebuilding and trying to do it with a lot of young players, and he's kind of at the center of that. What is your thoughts on the Phillies' third baseman, Maikel Franco?
He's doing a great job offensively and I think defensively. One thing that people have to notice, in the situation they're in and being a young player, people might say, yeah, that's easy because you don't have to worry about team goals, but I see it the other way around because he's one guy that he's going to be there when they become good and just try to grow into a leader. That's not easy, and it seems like he's doing a good job with it. You start looking at the Phillies, and they're doing a good job. I mean, this pitching staff is pretty solid. These guys are pounding the strokes, like I said before, with good stuff. And it seems like the rebuilding process is going to take only a few years. It's not going to be as long as people thought. They did an outstanding job with their trades, last year with Hamels, then with Giles. And they got some arms. And then you start looking at that Double-A team in the Eastern League, and you're like, whoa, there's some pretty good players, and you get excited about what they might accomplish the next few years. But obviously, Maikel Franco is is going to be in the middle of it. It's a guy that in spring training, he had an outstanding spring training, and he's done a good job early in the season. And last year we saw flashes too, and then he got hurt, and obviously, he couldn't finish the season. But he's a guy that is very interested, strong guy, strong kid, and I really like what he's doing for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Well, good stuff from Alex Cora here. Don't forget Sunday Night Baseball, Red Sox and Astros. And that's an interesting matchup when you look at the Astros, a team that maybe the Phillies trying to duplicate there a little bit. Young players trying to turn around a 100-loss type of season. And that Astro team, very good. Presented by Taco Bell here on 97.3 ESPN, ESPN Television, ESPN Deportes TV, ESPN Deportes Radio, and the Yankees and the Rangers. Monday Night Baseball, 8 o'clock on ESPN. Watch ESPN and ESPN Deportes. He's Alex Cora, ESPN Baseball Tonight, baseball analyst here on the Sports Bash. That Trout and Harper discussion will go on, and that's a good thing for baseball. Arrieta with another no-hitter. Some very exciting things in the early stages. Alex, we thank you so much.
Thank you. Anytime.
Alex Cora, everybody, here on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. Phillies tonight, they take on the Brewers. It's Aaron Nola getting the start for the Phils. It's an 8-10 start. We got more on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN.